Hey guys, Adam here. Quick comparison video. Nope, scratch that. Not gonna be super quick. Hey guys, Adam here with a comparison video. Sony A1 versus GoPro 9 Black versus DJI Pocket 2. Now I know a lot of these are kind of silly comparisons, right? Of course, you know, the Sony A1 is kind of a flagship. It's not exactly going to normally compete against those two, but it's still kind of fun to see how far you can push some of the lower end stuff. We're gonna jump right into it. You want some more information, some more thoughts, check out the end of the video, because we all know you really just want to see the different clips. Let's go. The Sony A1 with the Sony f4 12-24 on there, Ronin RS2, Pocket 2 DJI. I do have the extra battery thing on there, and then just a GoPro 9 Black. I'm not going to be going into insane details with some of this, right? I'm not going to be working at doing every level of maybe, you know, the flat versus the not flat color profiles and the logs and all this kind of stuff. There's endless ways you can compare on this world. And there's a lot of stuff out there already on YouTube if you want to get into some of that nitty gritty. What I'm just kind of curious about is just seeing, like I said, kind of like an everyday person, how I can actually deal with this, you know, and maybe use it in my real life. One thing you will note, I am doing linear on the GoPro mode because I just don't want that wide view. And on the Pocket, I do have the wide angle attachment, and I might throw it on there a few times just to kind of see what it does, but in general I'm going to run it without it, just to kind of, so I don't have to deal, because on the Pocket with that wide angle lens, it is pretty fish-eyed on a lot of that stuff. And then we're not going to be running wide open on the 12mm lens on the Sony. We'll probably hit about 16mm. So I've been using all three of these cameras for quite a while. You know, this videography and things are my full-time job, but it's also a passion thing I do on the side. I do a lot of hiking, a lot of camping, a lot of those kind of things. So, and a lot of the FPV drone stuff. So the GoPro is always around being used for certain things. The Pocket is a phenomenal tool for the backpacking and hiking and vlogging and all sorts of just great things. It's just been a great treat for me to use in different situations. The Sony is my main camera that I use for almost everything else. So they all already have their places in what I do. So it's just kind of fun to kind of see how they compare in a very specific situation. Now, there's a few main areas that, you know, in my mind when doing these kind of comparisons come up. You know, I do a lot of, one of my companies does real estate media specifically, and then on my other company I do a lot of promotional work, architectural work, drone work, things like that, just general freelance stuff. And you know, I would honestly never show up to a design shoot or an architectural shoot with a Pocket or a GoPro. Even if, as you can see in that comparison, I can actually get some pretty great stuff if the lighting's good. But I would never actually show up to a shoot with the Pocket. It just doesn't look, even if I could get an equal, which I don't believe I can, but even if I could get equal, it just wouldn't flow, right? It just wouldn't fit. There is a level or a trueness to showing up and looking impressive. It will be super interesting, though, to see how that kind of plays as the future goes, because as some of this younger generation that's used to cell phone videos, that's used to seeing people get out cell phones to make videos, it's used to seeing people get out some of the, you know, more niche or little cameras, as they start becoming these people that own these companies and own these different places, if they'll be okay with people showing up, as long as the product that they're getting, they're happy with it, they may not care, you know, what kind of camera shows up. So that's going to be pretty cool as the years go on to see if any of that changes. As far as the cameras actually go in the comparison, I'm not surprised. Well, not really surprised because I've worked with them, but you know, in really trying in this situation, I haven't really done that much of a close comparison. Sony obviously is the easiest to work with. I mean, what came out of that camera was almost, I did very little to that footage to make it look what I wanted to look like. So as far as ease of use, Sony hands down, and just overall picture and ability there. You know, I didn't touch into a lot of low light situations. I didn't deal with a lot of weird stuff. If you were looking at a much broader spectrum of what I deal with day to day, with lens swaps and all different stuff, of course the Sony is going to win. GoPro, this just isn't its scene. Its stabilization is still mind-blowing. To walk around without a gimbal and just make these weird shots with your hand is a lot of fun. Stabilization's unreal, but just its picture, its color, how it looks. There's a lot of stuff. This just isn't its scene. That being said, on the GoPro, on the Pocket, I honestly didn't spend a ton of time really dialing in their settings. I kind of just ran with what they had. I probably could have done a lot better job with, you know, figuring out the best white balance and all those different things and going manual on it, and I didn't. The Pocket's pretty great. You look kind of stupid, I think, doing it. You know, a normal gimbal move with that large gimbal and that camera and how you look when you're doing it with the Pocket, it's kind of funny, but honestly, the picture's actually pretty great. I probably could use that on, especially a lot of the real estate stuff. But I will say the Pocket took a little more work than some of the other stuff. I put noise reduction on almost every clip from the Pocket, even though it was good lighting. Again, maybe if I dial in my settings better, it might be good. But it's shadows, and it just doesn't have that. It just doesn't have that dynamic range that the Sony does, of course. And so when you start pulling up some of the shadows and trying to push that look to how you want it, it just gets grainy fast. But you know what? It still is fun. Again, when it comes down to this, you know, there's so many questions on which cameras to buy and what should I do. Of course, not everybody's going to be able to afford the A1 or want to use the A1 for, you know, certain things that I might use it for. You know, I started, you know, this is my full-time gig now, is doing freelance videography. I was a teacher for a long time, and I started full-time with the Canon 80D, much less capable. So is the Pocket, is the GoPro what you're going to want to start this stuff? No. But on the other hand, you know, if that's what you have, that's what you can afford, I'm a big believer in learning to use what you have, use it well, because if you're creative and know how to push some of this stuff, learn the editing side better, and honestly, for some of those situations, for some of the reels, for some of the quick and dirty stuff that the real estate company does, some of those types of things, those little guys might actually fit a great niche. I have the Pocket up all the time shooting behind the scenes stuff for me. Would love to actually hear what some of the people's thoughts are in the future on these kind of things. You know, even a gimbal with an iPhone that can shoot pretty beautiful stuff. Would you ever actually show up to a real shoot with that? And or have you, and how has it worked? I have heard stories of people showing up and shooting pretty high dollar real estate or design stuff with a phone. Their end product is good because they know how to work that, they know how to work that system, and their clients didn't care as long as their final product is great. Thanks, guys.